In a near-future world, former action star Will Derringer has somehow become President of the United States. Across the Atlantic, Sam, the first black Prime Minister in British history, views Will as a reckless opportunist. But fate has other plans. The two will soon become reluctant allies on a high-stakes escape mission. Aboard Air Force One, a flight attendant enters the radio control room carrying a tray of burgers, claiming they're a gift from the president to boost morale. But moments later, he shuts down the plane's radar and injects a virus into the system. Meanwhile, in the presidential office, Will is ranting about Sam's choice to serve fish and chips. Sam fires back with equal sarcasm.
You went from modeling your underwear to being on the red carpet to having your finger on the nuclear button. If I could have endorsed your opponent, yes, I would have, because at least there'll be a real leader in the White House. What's that? You heard what I said.
No, what's that?
Suddenly, through the window, they spot a massive transport aircraft emerging from the clouds. It's clearly hostile. The enemy opens its rear hatch and launches kamikaze drones toward Air Force One. Assassins already on board prepare to strike.
Mr. President, sir!
With the radar disabled, the crew resorts to old-school machine guns to defend the plane. One drone slips through and hits the right wing. The pilot scrambles to stabilize the aircraft, buying Will and Sam just enough time to escape. But the plane is going down, heading straight for Belarus. Their only hope is to reach neighboring Poland.
It's been an honor, Mr. President!
Mid-air, they deploy parachutes. Sam, a former Royal Navy officer, handles the jump with ease. Will, however, relied on stunt doubles for all his parachute scenes in the movies. Soon, Air Force One crashes spectacularly, and news of the presumed deaths of both world leaders dominates global headlines. Will regains consciousness mid-descent, groggy and confused. Sam informs him they're still 24 kilometers from the Polish border. Will naively assumes rescue will arrive soon, but Sam knows better. This was an inside job. If they're caught by Belarusian forces, it would be a diplomatic disaster. Will wants to call his family to let them know he's alive, but Sam warns him the enemy is likely monitoring his phone.
Put that down!
Frustrated, Will begs Sam to help him down from the tree he's stuck in. Sam decides to mess with Will a little before helping him down.
I'm gonna drop you on three.
Cut to Washington. With the president presumed dead, Vice President Kirk must temporarily assume office. Every new president activates a system called Echelon, which controls national satellite intelligence and even nuclear launch protocols. But when Kirk tries to verify and reboot the system, the virus planted on Air Force One activates.
We are now in control of Echelon.
Back in Eastern Europe, Will and Sam pass through a small village where a group of lively young men are partying. Will eyes their car. He's too exhausted to walk any farther. They sneak over to the vehicle. Luckily, Will picked up some skills during his film shoots and manages to hotwire it. But the engine roars to life, drawing the attention of the partygoers. Thinking fast, Will confidently steps out, hoping they'll recognize him, not as the president, but at least as a movie star. Unfortunately, his plan backfires. The young men don't care who he is and immediately start a brawl. For Sam, this is just a minor scuffle. But for Will, who used stunt doubles for all his fight scenes, it's a real challenge. Thankfully, his muscles come in handy and he knocks out one guy with a single punch, sending his front teeth flying. This enrages the group. They grab sickles and hoes. Just then, a gunshot rings out. Terrified, the young men scatter, fleeing in all directions.
Yankees?
No. Canadians. I just say Canadians. Everybody loves Americans. Americans love Americans.
A woman offers Will and Sam a ride, saying it's on her way. But for two men who once stood at the pinnacle of global power, it's a humbling experience, crammed into a small vehicle alongside a flock of sheep. As they approach the border, a flicker of unease crosses the woman's face, prompting Will and Sam to hide silently among the sheep.
Может, договоримся?
Late that night, they finally arrive at a safe house in Warsaw. Will wants to gift the woman a watch that Keanu Reeves once gave him.
It was my pleasure, Mr. President.
Meanwhile, Sam rings the doorbell, but unbeknownst to them, the surveillance footage is instantly transmitted through the Echelon system to the villain's computers. The door opens to reveal Marty, a special agent who never imagined he'd meet the president in person. Overwhelmed, he tells them that in the short time they've been missing, the world has spiraled into chaos. With the Echelon system compromised, countless classified documents have been leaked online. NATO member states have discovered that supposed allies were secretly planting spies and manipulating elections. The fragile alliance is now on the verge of collapse. Suddenly, alarms blare inside the safe house. Two assassins have arrived. Marty calmly opens a nearby safe and tells Will and Sam to stay put while he grabs the surveillance monitor and boldly steps outside. The assassins detonate C4 on the wall. But Marty, watching through his monitor, seems to have X-ray vision. He takes out the attackers one by one through the walls. Just as he's gaining the upper hand, a bullet shatters the camera. Forced to retreat, Marty forgets the rifle strapped to his back. One assassin catches up and shoots him. With his last breath, Marty urges the two to escape through the emergency exit. He then pulls the pin on a grenade, determined to take the enemy down with him. Will opens a hidden passage and they squeeze into a narrow elevator. Just when they think they've escaped, they find the exit blocked by more assassins. In a tense moment, a police car crashes into the scene. As they approach, Sam is stunned to recognize the woman lying on the ground. He had been investigating a Russian assassin syndicate and hadn't expected to stumble into them like this. These killers are loyal to Victor, a notorious arms dealer. Victor's son, a brilliant scientist, had invented the world's first fusion reactor that didn't require containment. To support his son's research, Victor purchased large quantities of enriched uranium on the black market. The Echelon system flagged the transaction, and the military mistakenly believed Victor was building a nuclear weapon. They launched a raid, resulting in the tragic death of Victor's son, and the US seized his research. To stay ahead, an ally named Noel leads Will and Sam onto a train bound for Italy, where the upcoming NATO summit will be held, but their location has already been compromised. Early the next morning, Noel steps out of their cabin and two assassins burst in. He's Victor's chief tech officer, long forced to work under duress. He personally built Victor's encrypted communications system. If they want to find Victor's inner circle, they need to access the data terminal and check who's contacted him recently. He scribbles the address and password on Will's hand and urges them to jump off the train immediately, since the next station is crawling with assassins. Late that night, the trio drives to the location Ralph provided. Inside a vast, empty hall, they discover a mirrored room. The data terminal is inside, but just as Will enters the mirrored room to access the data terminal, assassins arrive. Sam grabs a bag of weapons and tries to hold them off, but after years away from combat, he's a bit rusty. While fumbling through the gear, he spots a loose grenade pin, dangerously close to detonation. Meanwhile, Noel discovers a name in the terminal, Brad. He's been in contact with Victor, and shockingly, Brad is Will's personal secretary. Suddenly, blinding light floods the room and two grappling hooks pierce through the walls. Sam grabs a fire axe and swings at the ropes with everything he's got, but it's too late. The entire room is lifted into the air by a helicopter. Then a rocket is fired directly at Sam, engulfing the floor in flames. Noel spots a nearby building and, seizing the moment, leap from the airborne room to safety.
It's handled.
Later that night, Noel pilots a small boat across the sea toward Italy, where the NATO summit is about to begin and where a vote to dissolve the alliance looms. Back in Washington, Vice President Kirk is overwhelmed, receives a call from Will. Will shares his location and reveals Brad as the traitor. Soon, a driver arrives at the dock with Presidential One, a heavily armored vehicle. That's when Will realizes the real traitor is Vice President Kirk. As waves of killers descend on the dock, a brutal fight breaks out. Will picks up a pistol but hesitates to pull the trigger. He shoves the driver aside and takes control of the vehicle. Just then, an assassin aims a grenade launcher at the car, but a fire truck barrels in and smashes him away. It turns out Sam survived the explosion the night before. He jumps into the vehicle and Will heads to the back seat to fight off another attacker.
Open the door!
Luckily, the car's security features are top tier. Even rocket blasts can't penetrate it. Will remembers the emergency blood packs stored in the fridge.
Take this, you bloody bastard!
Up ahead is a military outpost. Sam floors the gas pedal, plowing through the explosions. The assassins are forced to retreat.
You have now reached your destination.
Meanwhile, at the NATO summit, delegates are preparing to announce their withdrawal from the alliance. Suddenly, Will and Sam burst into the conference hall, exposing Kirk's conspiracy. Gunfire erupts. Security rushes in but is quickly overwhelmed. Thankfully, Noel charges in through a side entrance and clears out the snipers on the second floor. Victor tries to escape via helicopter. Noel leaps and tackles him to the ground. Downstairs, Will and Sam exchange a glance and race upstairs. Noel is pinned down by assassins, so the mission to stop Victor falls to the two heads of state. Will grabs a rifle and they storm into the mirrored room where Victor is hiding. They wait until he's out of bullets, then charge in.
Drop it.
Victor retreats to the balcony where a getaway chopper awaits. Will, furious, refuses to let another terrorist slip away. He and Sam split up and flank Victor, but Victor grabs a harpoon gun and shoots Sam in the shoulder. Will breaks off a statue and hurls it with all his strength. The statue flies perfectly into the helicopter's engine, disabling it midair. In the end, thanks to the efforts of these two unlikely allies, the alliance is saved from collapse.